up this morning.
Yeah.
I think they're redirecting power down to the south for the hurricane, so they're moving the satellites.
Well, water's a common enemy. Everybody hears about water. Sending water to North Carolina.
You guys don't have any problems there, do you?
Want to get involved in that?
Lynn, but our friends are staying with us from Florida, are leaving this afternoon, and then we're the street is big. They just, yeah, they hadn't closed yet. It's okay. Not sure what you want. Those are just, and it's, two have guessed that it's the back of that hurricane days.
It's amazing, because when I was saying something to our brothers and sisters, and once in Minnesota, and they're like, we're getting hurricane rate today, and he's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, we gotta go see the lunch.
Yep.
Welcome, I'll call this meeting to order. If everybody would stand. Thank you. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Again, welcome, everybody. Our Friday, October 4th Board of Works meeting. Everybody is present. First item is the approval of the minutes from the meeting on September 20th.
And I looked those over. Did you see?
Yeah, I didn't see anything that,
You okay?
I'm good.
It's all right. I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented from
I'll-
the September 20th.
I'll second that.
There's a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Again, welcome to all of our visitors. Reports, oral and written. We do have a resident on 618 North Lincoln Street that is making a special request. Rebecca, do you want to say anything, or do you want me to take, got it? Okay. If you take a look at her memo, which is very clear and well-written, this is the property at 618 North Lincoln Street. The homeowner, in her memo, she indicated that I had talked to the homeowner, which I did. The homeowner purchased this home in February, a county resident, unaware of how we bill water and sewage now connected. First-time pool owner. I'm a pool owner. And he filled up his pool. And if you look at the memo, you can see he went from 2,000 gallons a month. And Rebecca told me that's steady. It's about 2,000 steady to 39,000 gallons. I've actually seen the pool because that house is part of the sidewalk project, and I was there in the spring, and I'm just telling you, the water did not go into the sewage system. So he is asking for relief, and I told him that I would not do that. Rebecca has handled it like she always does very well, but I said, we've tried to be a good neighbor on situations like this before when we just flat out know a variety of circumstances to look toward a homeowner's direction, especially when we know the water didn't go down that sewage, into the sewage system. So I told him I would give it to you publicly to consider. And do you have any questions? Rebecca, did I explain that? Am I good? You're good? Okay. Any questions about
Well,
that?
clearly the water didn't go down the sewage.
No, it's
So
in the
we
swimming
have
pool.
that.
Yeah.
So he didn't dump all that water down, he put it in the pool. But how have we done this in the past? Refresh my memory.
What will happen is Rebecca, and you help me, Rebecca will take a look at the numbers, you know, what the normal use was, and then this amount, and there will be some type of credit that will be given to the,
Yeah, but we made exceptions, I think.
oh, we've done this,
Yeah.
yes.
From time to time, yeah.
Yeah, from time to time, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly they didn't know, so.
He didn't even know, again, county, the water sewage bill, he'd never had anything like that. He's now, as you see in the memo, he's in the summer credit program, obviously. I just felt like it had to come to you just for your consideration.
I think we should look his way. I mean, I think it's honest. He's not trying to pull something over on anybody. He just didn't know that that was available, so
And
now
clearly,
he does. So I think for a one-time
Right,
exception.
and clearly, we didn't have to treat the water, so.
right. That was the other big thing for me, the circumstances Diane said, and then I've seen the pool, so.
You've seen, have
I've
you been
seen-
in it?
Yeah, I've been in I was in the house when we were going through, Dustin was with me, and, we went house to house because of the sidewalks back there, and so he actually invited us in, so.
So, you verified it.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve this request to adjust the credit.
And I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Rebecca, you good? Okay.
Is the adjustment just gonna be what was paid and then what the average bill is?
Maybe Rebecca could help us out. How will you work that out? You gave us some numbers in here. Do you have an actual credit that you would want to give him for the amount? You may not have that at this time, but,
So like he normally paid $47.52 and this time he paid $262.12, so you would just subtract. Yeah.
so that she would follow the summer credit. Are you okay with that, Lynn, or do you want a specific number
Do
from?
you want an exact number? About 215?
Yeah, your calculator's good.
$214.60.
Yeah.
Okay.
FYI.
So would you
Yeah.
like a motion that he receives a credit of $214.60? Is that cleaner for you?
Yes.
Scott says,
Yes.
okay.
Thanks, Lynn, for that help. Okay, so there's, you made the motion. Are you okay with the second to
Yes.
change that motion? Okay, any further discussion?
But you need her to
I
say
said
that.
it. I mean,
She amended it,
Fine,
but
then I'll
I'm
second
asking
that.
you because of
Yes.
that, then we can
I'll
do
just make
it.
sure we do it. Yeah.
Okay, that's all right, I appreciate that. Any further discussion or questions? All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, okay. Unfinished business. Dustin, I'm gonna have you come up. I'm gonna move the waste management contract that you had. That was brought up, I believe, at the last meeting, and so instead of keeping that in new business, we'll bring that up, point of order, to unfinished business. So we're now on item number 13 on the agenda, point of order, moving it to unfinished business. Dustin?
Yeah, so the bids were open September 5th, Board of Works meeting for 2025 through 2028, landfill dumping fees. We had a sold bid from Waste Management in the amount of $37.20 per ton, with a 2% annual escalation de-escalation rate. So attached here is the service agreement and contract for you guys' signature. That will start January 1st, 2025, and expire December 31st of 2028.
So on page 2, Dustin helping us out, the amounts are for 2025, 26, 27, and 28 are in front of us, and you're seeking approval for that.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No? If we've reviewed this and
Okay.
approved it, I'll make a motion, we authorize the waste management contract as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve in a second. Any further comments, Dustin?
No, just again that this has worked out with having a transfer station located right here within the Warsaw city, corporate city limits has worked out extremely well. They've been a pleasure to work with, so looking forward to sticking with them for another 4 years.
Thank you. There is a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.
We will now go to new business. Thanks again, Lynn, for your help there. And we have a request from the Housing Authority. Is there a representative here? Good.
Hi,
Thank you.
I'm Sandy. We're requesting the release of the mortgage for 507 Morton Street. That was the HOYO program, Home of Your Own, and we did roof repairs, and she has paid the arrearage or debt in full. So we'd like to release the mortgage.
Any questions?
No?
I think that's exciting that
Mhm.
homeowner accomplished that, so I'll make a motion that we approve this request to release the mortgage.
Second.
There's a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, it is.
I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now, 2 copies have been signed. I'm new at this, what we need. Lynn,
I get one.
Lynn
She gets
gets one. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. HR travel requests. If I remember right, there's several of them. Thanks, Danny.
Good morning. We do have several travel requests going through real quick. Our airport manager going to the Indiana Aviation Annual Conference. EMS chief going to the Indiana Trauma and Emergency Medicine Symposium. We have a police officer going down for basic instruction. And then the rest are all from the wastewater, 3 of them going to the microscopy workshop. And then the rest going to the 811 damage prevention conference. So it's all continuing education credits that they need for their licenses and things of that sort.
Any questions from the board or Danny?
I looked them over. Looks important. I'll make a motion that we accept the travel requests as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve in a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thanks, Denny. Second item is a take-home vehicle here.
Yes, we have, wastewater has requested that Kevin Smith be allowed to use a take-home vehicle. He's stepped up into our supervisor position for the maintenance team, so requesting that he's got that ability to be on call and have a vehicle to come in and take care of any issues.
He has signed it, and the department head, Brian, has, and if you look, there are 5 items that must be followed with this take-home vehicle. So,
I assume it's a vehicle we already have.
What's that, I'm sorry?
It's a vehicle we already have.
Yes, it was part of our previous maintenance supervisor, had that vehicle, and now he's left the city, and we're just transferring it over to somebody new.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion that we accept this request for Kevin Smith to have a take-home vehicle.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Denny, the next one, I don't know exactly what this is, so help us out here. Yeah.
This is our Human Resources Information System. It's the program that we use to track all of our employees, former employees, with their dates of service, their payroll. This is where they get their pay stubs from. So this is just the annual contract for that system.
A 1-year contract, right?
1 year. I'll move to approve that renewal.
And I'll second that. I actually use that system, Mr. Mayor. Haven't
Okay.
you ever looked up your pay stub?
That's the only one that does that.
Very good. All right. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. And it looks like one more, Denny.
Yes, sir. The new hire change payroll report, a little bit of movement here. The cemetery, we're hiring Braxton Wilson back as full-time. He actually was with us for a while, left to pursue a dream. It didn't work out quite the way that he had hoped, so we're happy to welcome him back as part of our cemetery crew. Next one is Mr. Musgrave. He went to the lab, the last meeting, decided that that wasn't the best spot for him, so he asked to be moved back to the maintenance. We are adding Jeff Owens to the Planning Commission Board. Jeff Smith from our street department will now be transferring to wastewater to fill that position in the lab. He had some experience in the lab prior. And then we added Chloe Taylor to the bottom there. We just got her physical back yesterday from PERF, and she will be our newest probationary patrol officer starting Monday morning.
Who's Jeff replacing on Planning Commission.
Replacing Renee Saylor.
Oh, okay, so realtor.
He's going on the board as an independent.
Oh,
So he
yeah.
has a board where you have to have party aligned.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll move to approve this payroll report.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve in a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have
you.
it. Thanks, Danny. Next item is a service agreement. Brady and Nick. Thanks, you guys.
Morning. You guys hear me all right? So we have before you a contract proposal for a 2-year commitment with Eastern Engineering for our Xerox printer fleet. We have approximately 40 to 41 of those current units. Our existing contract for service and toner, the consumables that go in the devices, is up for expiration on the 6th. This contract would go in effect on the 7th, so that we wouldn't have any lapse of service should we have any breakdowns or warranty-related issues or toner cartridges. About 2 or 3 months ago, the IT Governance Committee had tasked me, along with the mayor's office, to do research on new companies moving forward. I've learned more about printers than I ever thought I would. But at this point, I feel very confident with Eastern Engineering's ability and their service offerings that they're going to do a phenomenal job for us. 2 key points in this printer world, I guess if you want to say, it's pretty typical to have escalations in prices year over year. Anywhere from 5% up on your base rates, even as high as 10%. So in this contract, there's a couple things that I really like that we were able to negotiate. We have a 2-year fixed term, or a fixed rate. It will not escalate in that 2 years. And it makes sense. The longer you use these devices, the sooner or the more prints you put out on these devices, the sooner the parts will begin to fail. And whoever we're contracting with will start to put in more money back into these machines, along with the rising cost of everything. So it only makes sense that over time, we will start to pay a higher rate. But we were able to get a fixed 2-year rate, which is amazing. But we also negotiated that we can leave with 30 days written notice whenever we like during the duration of the contract. They have that right as well. I think that's only fair. Instead of being locked in for a full 24 months or 12 months or whatever that duration is. So I think it kind of keeps everybody on an even keel, very low risk. And overall, just over the last 2 months of communicating with this company, both in person, emails, virtual meetings, I feel very confident that this company can take care of our needs.
Are the copy prices about the same? I was going to look it up.
Yeah, so we took a sample rate, and I have the rates, and they should be in that contract there also, but we took a sample of 2 months of our current billings, the corrected current billings, and then compared it to what our new totals would be with them, and I think it was an increase of just over $100, which going in with our current company, had we renewed, overall, I think their cap would have been up to a 10% increase. And when they say it's capped at a 4% or a 6% or a 10%, go ahead and assume it's going to be that 10%. It's not, if they put the cap in there at 10, they're not going to come in at 2. It's going to go up to that 10%, the next year the 10%, and the next year the 10% as you renew. This is an auto renew. If you don't give the written notice to cancel it 30 days out. But I feel the rates are as competitive as they could possibly be. We have some certain models that are just flat out more expensive than some of our other models. So moving forward over the next few years, we're going to try to figure out ways to reduce those costs on those higher toner cost units that we have. Because we can do that multiple ways by either eliminating some or pushing some of our prints to our larger units that are a lot more cost effective or efficient to operate to drive our per print cost down.
Yesterday, or 2 days ago, at our department head meeting, Brady was able to go through all of this with the department heads. And again, as we transition, he's explained it to you here. He did yesterday. The IT team, Nick, is here with him in total agreement. This is the best step for us to take when we think about copiers and printing needs. So, Nick, do you have any comments? No, yeah, and thanks, Brady, for all your work.
Yes, sir.
Countless hours to work on this as we transition to another provider.
Yes, sir.
So I just have one. I think it'd be beneficial to, somewhere here on the contract, maybe in the notes, have a physical location, mailing address, to be able to contact this vendor. It's
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna
other
say,
than
yeah.
just an email address. If we can get,
I have all that documentation, but it must just not be on the, you must not have the sheet on the cover sheet
if you could just
on the
maybe
proposal.
write that into the notes so that, all right, yeah, so we just want that,
Give that to Lynn.
we just want that to be part of a contract where
Okay.
they would like to because some of this stuff requires written notice.
Sure.
We'd like the contract to have where they would like to receive written notice on the face of the
Want her to read
contract.
the address just for the record, Lynn, the address down there at the bottom of that handout they just gave you, on the right.
It's, the address is 9901 Allisonville Road, and that's in Fishers, Indiana, and the zip code's 47038.
We'll confirm that that's correct.
Yeah, and then just, I think it would fit right there in the notes for,
You're okay with this moving forward? and
Yeah, I think
just-
it-
Just fill that in. once it's-
really good job, guys.
It's voted on,
And
yes.
another thing too, maybe if the IT committee or someone from the IT committee can make sure every department has this contact information for when we need supplies or whatever.
There was a lot of moving parts to try to get it in before we had a lapse. But I've had 4 or 5 phone calls this week with our sales rep as far as if this was approved today, you know, I need to get on the horn with some of your onboarding people as soon as possible so that I can communicate with our department heads and our admin assistants so they're not just shocked immediately Monday morning something's going wrong. What do I do? So obviously I want to send that out. I don't know if everybody's in today, but obviously push all that stuff to me. If there's any kind of an issue, push it to me and I'll get to them. But there'll be new labeling, there'll be new communication going out to each department so that everybody is on an even ground and knows what's going to happen. Another thing I did not touch on, which is a huge thing that I think is a convenience, we will no longer be, unless there's a serious issue, we won't have to call and request toner. We won't have to email and request toner. This is an automated process where we put software on our server environments that is monitoring those devices. So when those toner levels hit 20%, Eastern's going to automatically start shipping toner to our departments. They've also graciously, some of our departments at certain times of the year can definitely print a lot in a week's time. And if we're getting concerned that we're 24% and we're not quite at that 20% level and we're not going to get toner for maybe a week, 2 weeks, they've been gracious enough that if we can communicate with them, they don't have a problem shipping extra toner, knowing that the clerk's department is going to kick out 5,000 pages over the next 2 weeks. So that's a huge benefit that people won't have to be calling or, oh, I didn't catch that toner was 18% or 10%. It will all be automated. That's how we were able to do a lot of the research of what we actually needed moving forward, was using that auditing software. So I think that was worth noting, that it's very beneficial.
I really appreciate the work, and again, you updating the department heads and working through this transition. Thank you to you and then the IT
No.
team.
You're very welcome.
Any questions from the board? I know a lot coming at you here, but
I guess my only question is if we do come into a situation where we need to replace something, then I assume you guys will talk about it, whether that actually needs replaced or that copying is going to be diverted somewhere else, or,
I didn't quite catch that.
So if I'll use my department as an example. We have a printer in my office as a backup, and then we have the main copy machine. Say the main copy machine has a part break, we can start diverting those prints to my office, and then they will send a tech out to repair that unit. And so
Okay.
we set our program up so that every department has a minimum of 2 machines.
Okay.
So that if one machine, the machine in my office cannot do what our main copy machine can do, but it can make prints, make copies, scan them. It'll get us by until we get that fixed, and vice versa. The other nice thing, say my big unit goes down and we're doing a big print, we can contact one of the other departments and make sure that we can, there's 11 departments in the city, we can make sure that we've got, continuity of business that way as well for those larger jobs. And then their technicians, Eastern's technicians are the ones that actually will be doing the service. So we will be able to build relationships with them. They know our machines, they're in our area. So we're, instead of relying on outside technicians coming in and fixing this, so they're all Eastern employees. And so it should hopefully streamline a lot of that.
okay, so they don't contract employees?
No, it's all in-house.
It's
They're all
theirs.
certified technicians
Okay.
in-house, and so they're not having to go to the manufacturer and then wait for that schedule. They're sending somebody direct to us.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, necessary, these maintenance agreements, especially on stuff like this.
Okay, I'll make a motion then that we approve this maintenance agreement with Eastern Engineering.
I'll second that.
There's a motion.
Thanks for your recommendation.
To accept in a second. Any further comments? Good. Thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate it. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item from my office with help from Aaron related to this building and upkeep. Aaron, I'll allow you to present, and we may have this on Board of Works, but I appreciate you bringing this hard copy. And also, I know you've been working at this
Yeah, it's on here.
for quite some time, so
Nice.
I do believe it's on board pack also. Aaron, thank you. Help us understand
Yeah,
what you've been
so
up to.
it's more and more common these days, we look at alternate project delivery methods. The common design, bid out, then construct is a great method for most projects, but not all projects really fit that mold. And we've already, as a city, we've used the BOT process, and then there's a design build process. And as I've done my research, and I'll apply this, we have a specific project we're looking at, that's why we're here, but a process called a request for proposals is an available tool that we have to use to procure services from contractors. And the benefits of this purchasing process is it allows you to evaluate criteria besides just the lowest responsive and responsible bid price. So when you have a project with certain complexities or other unique characteristics, the putting together a package of specifications from an engineering firm and asking contractors to all price that, it's not always the best way to get the best contractor for the job when the specifications aren't always going to be, it's hard to develop specifications for certain projects, such as, for example, the one that we're looking to use it as the HVAC improvement project for the city. We don't need to re-engineer. We need to, as we know, and I'm not going to get into this here, the HVAC system for the first and second floors needs to be replaced. It's been problematic ever since it's been installed due to installation problems, and that's been something we've went through and had settlements made and stuff for, so that's all known. And now we're to the point where we need to actively replace that so we don't continue to spend significant money on maintenance costs, replacing compressors and all that, and having down systems all the time. So we don't need to re-engineer what we need. That's common based on the square footages and the spaces we have. We just need new equipment installed, more or less, to put it in simple terms. And I feel like the key to the whole project is how a contractor would come in and approach that and keep us running, keep us with operating heat and cooling, and deploy this in phases. And talking with and working with an engineering company to define that and have contractors bid on that is probably not the best way to go. The people who actually do this work, I would like, in my opinion, their proposals on how they're going to go about it, and their approach and how they're going to ensure that we can still function at City Hall as they deploy this new system is just as important as the price and cost of the project. A lot of the cost is going to be in the material and the units that we need to install, and that's pretty much been identified, but a proposal would allow us to seek opinions and suggestions on that as well. But again, so to sum it up, request for proposal purchasing allows us to put out through the public, we have to advertise it twice, opportunities to submit proposals from qualified contractors with additional criteria to select on besides just the cost of the project. The backside of the memo I sent gives you a little bit of a breakdown on that process for proposals.
Page 2 on the board.
What we're asking for today is just approval, consensus that this is a procurement method that we feel would be good for the city. And we most likely would like to utilize it on this specific project if it is approved. But I think there are other opportunities where a request for proposal would make sense, and it would be a good tool for us to have, and you would evaluate it on a project-by-project basis. A typical infrastructure improvement would probably not be the way you would go. That's usually an engineer would do the specs and plans, and you go build the roadway or build the sewer or whatever it might be. But this one, with the characteristics of it and talking with other communities, how they procure contractors in these situations, they advised we should really look strongly at this.
I appreciate that, Aaron. This
Opportunity.
RFP method, we have a very unique system with this HVAC, and it's, Aaron has been working with my office, he's been working with Scott to figure out what is the best way to handle this. Also somewhat of a timing issue because it's not working properly. Money we're trying to leverage, and I'll have to go to council to work on that, but doing everything we can to take care of this the right way. So, Scott, do you have any comments? Or
Yeah, I have a couple comments. So first of all, the Indiana statute that allows for the alternative purchasing method of request for proposals, Aaron and I have discussed this, and we think this would also be useful for many projects. It's not limited to just this HVAC project. The public bidding statute, I think, is there to, number one, make there be competitive bids, and number two, make there be a fair bidding process. And the statute sets out the requirements that the city would have to meet when it puts out a request for proposal, and it's very specific. A lot of them are listed here on page 2, but some of the advantages is it gives your vendor or your provider an opportunity for discussions and revisions of proposals. So sometimes they know better than Aaron or any one individual engineer that we might hire as an expert of what it is they could do that they do best. And this proposal allows them to make offers and proposals on how best they can accomplish stuff that we want to have accomplished. But it provides a competitive marketplace to do that and a fair marketplace to do that. And I think some of the stuff that they've learned of recent bidding is, we built the Parks Department building with the BOT, the Buy, Operate, Transfer. And I think that's becoming really popular around the state of Indiana for municipalities to use that. And I think this request for proposals is also along that line to give our people who want to compete for this project an opportunity to do that and provide us with their expertise on how it might be best to be done. So I think it's a great idea first for this HVAC project and for many other projects that the city has come before them, that specifically the more unique things. And I think it's a great plan that Aaron's put together and that the statute allows us to do.
Within this process, does it allow any mechanism to require the vendor to be bonded or,
Absolutely.
because I'm.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, anything over $150,000 would require all of that. And financial, part of the requirement of the submittal will include financial statements and bonds. Yes, they'll likely at least 10% of the value of what they propose as the cost of the project would be put up right up front. So absolutely, all those requirements, certificates of insurance, everything. So
Okay, so they're all
a
part of
full vetting, just like we would after a low bid contract is done, would be done with any of them that we're interested in pursuing a contract with.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure this process allowed for that.
Any other questions?
No, good explanation. We have the mayor, the city attorney, and the clerk all on board, so I see no reason to question it further. It makes sense to me. So I'll make a motion that we approve the city hall, approve the solicitation, city hall improvements via the request as presented.
RFP method, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll
so
second that.
specifically, I think our motion should state that this board is approving the request for proposals purchasing procedure for the city to use in the future.
Okay, so I'll,
So moved.
so moved on that.
Okay, so George made the motion to approve. Thanks, Scott, for that.
Yeah,
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Thanks again, Aaron, Scott, for your comments, Lynn, all your work.
Yeah.
I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, you're welcome. I did want to add, we are taking this before the council on Monday too for a similar.
Thank you. Appreciate all your work. Plan Department, Justin.
I have the agenda in front of me, but I believe the cut permit is the
Yes.
item. Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
So what I'm requesting today is your approval of this tiered cut permit system. I've included the section of the ordinance that gives this board the power to escalate the bond amount for cut permits. We've seen an increase in activity as far as fiber companies coming into town and different work happening in the right-of-way. So we wanted to make sure that our bonding amounts were sufficient to cover potential damages or things that can go awry as they directional bore or dig in the right-of-way. Now, we have a lot of utilities, a lot of things overlapping, so we wanted to make sure that we were able to cover those costs. So in front of you, you have a proposal here to create a tiered system based on the type of cut they're doing in the right-of-way. So if they're doing a work in the right-of-way, we would maintain that $500 bond, which is currently called out in the ordinance. That's the minimum amount. If they're doing work that doesn't involve directional boring or cutting into the roadway, that we feel that $500 should be sufficient. The next tier up would be a cut less than 6 square feet in the roadway, that would be a $1,000 bond requirement. If they're doing a cut that's greater than 6 square feet or directional boring, we would ask for a bond of $5,000. And if they want a blanket bond to do multiple projects throughout the city within that year, we would ask for a $10,000 bond. We feel that this is in line with what other communities are requiring. I did call around and kind of see what other communities had in place, and everybody does it a little differently, but we feel that this is a little bit closer to what it might take if something goes a little awry as they undertake these projects in the right-of-way.
So it doesn't affect public utilities?
No, this does not impact, so if NIPSCO was doing a project, they're not required, they don't have that bonding requirement. But this would be more private companies, like fiber companies that are coming through, communications companies that are not public utilities.
Okay. I'll make a motion then that we approve this cut permit bond adjustment as stated in the proposal.
Second.
There's a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. Justin, you have another item here, new vehicle.
Yeah, so as we've hired an engineering assistant, there's been a need for them to do daily project inspections. So we've had them driving a 2007 Jeep Wrangler, which is nearing the end of its life, where the fees, the amount of money that we'll put into keeping it on the road will exceed the value of the vehicle. So we're looking to acquire a new vehicle, the 2024 Ford Ranger. So we would ask for the approval of the trade of the 2007 Jeep Wrangler, and then the acquisition of that Ford Ranger.
Any questions for Justin?
Looks like a pretty good price. I'll make a motion, we approve the acquisition of the new vehicle with the trade-in.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes
Thank you.
have it. Thank you.
Justin, are you paying for that out of your regular budget? Okay.
Thank you, Justin. Police Department, you have a pay app here. Thanks, Aaron.
I've been assisting the PD with accomplishing the restroom renovation project. So what you have is pay app number 2 for work done by Robinson Construction. Both myself and the architects from SRKM have reviewed the work, and we agree that it's completed satisfactory, and we'd request your approval for approving that pay app. There will be one final pay app. They do, so that's probably the pre-final, if you will. As you will, there's still, I think, $45,000 or something left.
45,515.
They do have some touch-up work and some punch list work they're still finishing, so they have to get all that done, but the project's pretty much complete. It's, well, I believe the police are excited to use it, but they do have to wrap up some of these final punch list touch-ups and things like that, that I suppose almost any project would probably have, so.
I did get an opportunity to see it a few weeks ago, and I don't know how long ago it was, Chief, you had this idea, and they have come a long way. It really looks nice, so.
It's a really nice facility if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, if you've not been out to that training center and then what the chief has been able to do to add the restrooms, it's a nice addition, not only for the police department, but as the chief has said, for the entire city, so. Any questions for Aaron? Not, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to approve this pay application in the amount of $90,270.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Aaron. Been busy today. Chief. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so the police department, on behalf of the city of Warsaw, is just requesting authorization to use the 2024 restricted opioid funds to donate or designate those remaining funds to K-Code. And the remaining amount is $133,175. K-Code is the, as obviously most of you are aware, is the Kosciuszko County Coalition on Drug Education. And K-Code provides funds to Kosciuszko Cares, Live Well Kosciuszko, Light, Serenity House, Bowen Center, Warsaw Wayne Cares, Warsaw PD, Fellowship Missions, our local drug unit, Net 43, and then a number of other entities. So we had the opportunity to sit down with Heidi Blake, with K-Code coordinator, the K-Code coordinator. She's here with us today. But I would like her to come up if she would and kind of maybe speak to the board as to what these funds will be designated to be used for.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Just excited to share a little bit about K-Code and what we do at the LCC. So all 92 counties are mandated by state statute to have a LCC, or local coordinating council. In Kosciuszko County, it's K-Code. Like the chief said, it stands for Kosciuszko Coalition on Drug Education. We meet once a month on the fourth Tuesday of every month, except for July and December. We meet at 11:30 at Papa Vino's. We provide lunch if anyone would ever like to come. But it's just a great opportunity for community leaders to come together and talk about issues surrounding substance use in our community. We are required by that state statute to cover 3 areas. So we cover prevention and education, which is personally really important to me, intervention and treatment, and then law enforcement and justice. And we have on average about 30 attendees every month that come together. And the most exciting part about the meetings to me are the before and after. So to see community collaboration and to see law enforcement talking to community organizations that are providing resources in our community. And really just want to thank Chief Whitaker and also Paul Heaton and Brian Sherwin have been amazing part of our group, and they bring so much knowledge and experience surrounding drug use in our area. So just really want to thank them for all that they've done. So be happy to answer any questions that you have. One thing that is really important to me is the state really would like local municipalities to follow the Hopkins guide to use of opioid litigation funds. So there are 5 guiding principles through John Hopkins. The first one is spending money to save lives, which is ultimately our goal, is to save lives. And use evidence to guide spending, invest in youth prevention, which again, that's very important to me. Focus on racial equity and develop a fair and transparent process for deciding where to spend the funds. Oftentimes, prevention is not at the table when it comes to the opioid settlement distribution, so that's something that I'm really passionate about and is very important to me. But I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
So does this commission then listen to requests and decide where to spend those funds?
Yes. So we take grant applications, and we have a board that works through those grant applications and then distributes the funds. And then we do work hand in hand with the county council, but ultimately it is the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute who oversees what the LCCs do. It's not the county council, but we do work directly with the county council and the county auditor's office.
Okay.
So these funds still are going to be used mainly in our community, right?
Yes, my suggestion would be, part of that requirement would be that they do cover Warsaw area, so in their services that they provide, and the majority of our partners do. We do have a few that maybe just provide services in Syracuse or something like that, but the majority of our partners do provide services in Warsaw, and that would be my suggestion.
You hit on, obviously, you have 4 categories.
Yes.
That you are able to designate funds for, and you're restricted to that, to the 25% of each category.
Yes, that's.
These funds will not be restricted.
Yep, so that's correct. So the funds that we receive through the LCCs actually come from, if there's an individual that's arrested in Kosciuszko County for a drug or alcohol-related offense, and they are found guilty or they plead guilty, and part of their plea agreement is that they pay alcohol countermeasure fees or drug interdiction fees, 75% of those fees come to K-Code to be used right here in Kosciuszko County. The other 25% goes to the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute at the state level for their initiatives. So again, my recommendation would be that it is evenly divided among those three areas, and not just a focus on treatment and recover, which is very, very important. I want to stress that I firmly believe in supporting people in recovery and treatment, very important, but these other areas are equally as important.
Any other questions?
No, you're all right with this, right?
Yeah, I just appreciate the chief coming to me, and this is an issue that not only we face within our jurisdiction, but as the county seat, it's the entire county, and these restricted opioid funds, this is a good thing to do, so.
Makes sense.
Thanks, chief.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we approve the request to donate the remaining restricted opioid funds to KCO, Kosciuszko Coalition on Drug Education.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, and again, thanks to both of you for your work. I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's interesting.
Street Department. Kincaid and Union, Dustin. Thank you, sir.
Yes, so a couple of years ago, we started this whole looking at neighborhood sidewalk programs and infrastructure projects with the ARPA funds when they came available. So one of the big ones we settled on was Kincaid and Union Street, and we advertised, designed the project, put it out for a bid. Back August 2nd, we awarded it August 16th in the amount of $334,987 to Pulver Asphalt Paving. And attached here is just the owner-contractor agreement that our engineering designing firm has put together for us to review for your approval.
Any questions for Dustin?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion to approve in a second. We'll do for Kincaid and Union.
Yeah.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Dustin, for work on this.
Thank you, and just one more quick note on there, just a reminder, this will be constructed during May of 2025, or towards the end of May, and be ready by the start of school. This is all in a walking school district, a little over 2,300 linear feet of sidewalk improvement for 3 walking, schools and school districts right there with Washington Elementary, Edgewood, and the high school as well. So be a much needed improvement in the area. So thank you.
Great point. They're going to wait until the end of the school year and attack it during the summer, so it'll be ready for the fall. Good. Thanks, Dustin. Point of order, we'll skip item 13. Remember, that was in unfinished business. That'll take us to item number 14, and Aaron is going to assist us with this. Again, thanks again for your work, Aaron, on this. He's brought in he wasn't sure we were going to have it on board pack. Appreciate you making copies too, bringing these in. They are on board pack, but yeah, they just came on. But again, I really appreciate it, Aaron. What are we looking at here?
So what I've brought before you is a request for permission to pursue a grant application. So the Indiana Department of Transportation has issued a notice of funding opportunity for what they call federal safety improvements, or the acronym is HSIP, Highway Safety Improvement Program. What they were looking for are very specific projects that would fit on they call them systemic projects that are known to be something you can implement relatively fast and relatively low cost, that are known to reduce the likelihood of severe accidents and fatalities on the roadways for traffic users and/or pedestrians. So the Federal Highway Administration put this program out with some extra funds. Their initiative towards safety is one of their priorities right now. So we're really looking to get a program that hopefully most communities could come to take advantage of, because it's a 90% grant funded with only a 10% local match, which is pretty significant and great program. One of the, I better back up. We were looking at two projects, if you notice that on the agenda. One of them was going to be, wouldn't fit the box. It was going to be pavement markings and some maintenance work, more or less, to restripe bike lanes and pavement markings. We had thought it was going to fit the box of this. It didn't. So we're only looking at just one project, just to clarify. So that project includes, one of the eligible criteria was upgrading traffic signals with more modern, higher visibility signal heads, and that includes putting with the black backing and stuff. So the theory is more visible traffic signals improve safety at signalized intersections. So we fit the box. We identified 12 of our intersections that would qualify. We've received cost estimates to do this upgrade to those intersections. Cost estimate is $162,690. That's what we'd like to, then we'd like to apply that as our total cost, and our local match that we need approval for the commitment would be $16,269. So with your approval and financial commitment, we will proceed with submitting this grant application and hopefully making those 12 signalized intersections safer and less risk of severe accident or crash taking place.
Appreciate your efforts here. 16,000 for potentially up to $160,000 and safety improvements. So,
Were you thinking that East Market in Argonne doesn't have a signal there? Were you thinking that you would add one there? Right? I mean, there's one at Jefferson and Argonne.
That's okay. Glad you're pointing that out. That's supposed to say Jefferson.
Okay.
Okay.
which one?
I wanted to make,
Item 8, number 8.
Number 9 would be.
Number
8
9.
and 9.
It's number 8 and 9, or just 9?
Well, 8, there is one at Center Street in Argonne.
Number 9 should be East Market at Jefferson. Thank you.
Jefferson.
Okay, so number 9, East Market Street at Jefferson. So if you want him to move forward with this, I would.
Thanks for
amend
that.
it
No,
to
we're
read
not proposing a new intersection with signals.
Yeah, I
That was
didn't-
a typo mistake that overlooked my eyes, so I'm glad you pointed that out.
Good comb,
Thank you.
George.
Okay.
That could have actually, a mistake like that could have got us in trouble with the grant
Right, good.
application. So that's
Good
great.
catch, George.
All right. Well, I think it makes sense, except with that correction, so if you're okay with this.
Yes?
Scott,
make
how does this motion have to go? Does it first have to be one to apply for the grant and then one to approve the amount of money? Or do we do it like not exceeding that amount of money for the match, or how?
That's what I would do, is a not to exceed.
Not to exceed the 16,269. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're doing this in conjunction with the Public Works, so the local match money is something Dustin is budgeting for out of the Public Works funds. It just does require, though, a letter signed by the mayor just committing that we do have the local match commitment.
I'm fine with that.
I would hope we're a little high on the price and it all comes in a little lower. That's the intent when we do these cost estimates. So I think calling it a not to exceed probably is okay for what we need to do.
You didn't say 20, we have a concern.
What do you want me to,
You do what you want.
do you want me to raise it up to 20?
You want her to stay at this amount, or would you want it to be not to exceed as you guys?
There'll be another
explored?
motion to approve the money at some point, I believe. But sure, we can call it up to
Well, I'm looking at the letter that he has
$20,000.
attached for you, and it has that specific amount in
Yes.
it.
Well, the one thing is we need to amend item 9 and add Jefferson, and then you could also, just in your motion, even though it says 16,269, you could say not to exceed. And he's just giving you information on what he believes it'll be. But I would give him wiggle room unless you object to that.
No, I think you can say whatever you'd like to say. I think you're the Board of Works, and you can approve him to apply for a grant that would not require a local match greater than whatever dollar figure you choose.
So I'll make a motion that we approve this request to apply for a grant with the exception of the amendment to number 9 to read East Market Street at Argonne Road.
With Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Replacing
I mean,
Argonne to
adding-
Jefferson.
Yeah. And that the city's match would not exceed $20,000.
Well said, good. Thanks, Diane. There's a motion.
I'll second
All
that.
right, and a second, with the stipulations identified by Diane. Thanks, Scott, for that. Any further comments or questions? Thanks again, Aaron. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, great, this will be fantastic to get, hopefully, I imagine it's gonna take a few months, hopefully we'll have some positive news in a few months.
Thank you, Aaron. Wastewater, Brian, you've been so patient. Good morning.
Really, they're stormwater, but the first one's for a Park Avenue storm sewer improvement project that we did. Project's basically complete. There is a pipe, we're waiting for a liner to be done, but all the above-ground disruptions are finished. We have repaved our section of the project. NIPSCO is next week? Tomorrow, on Saturday? So they're gonna start paving. They had to reroute some gas lines through there, so they will pave up to the area that we have just repaved. So that project's nearing completion. This is just the pay app for the work that has been completed.
I'll make a motion, we approve the pay app as presented. Number 2.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? None, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you, Brian. We'll go to item number 16, Kelly Park.
Yes, so this project is basically complete also. We did the walkthrough, and this is the retainage for the project, right? No, not yet.
It is not, and there is, I'll clarify a thing in my cover letter. This was intended to be the final pay app, but I was reminded after I put it on the agenda, there is a change order, a minor change order, I don't know the amount, but some fencing, safety fencing that they had that wasn't in here. So this is not a final pay app right now, and we do still hold retainage. It's still a valid amount, and now the motion and what we want to do is still valid. Just my note in my memo referring to this as final.
Okay.
It's not.
So a lot of the material they dredged out of that pond, they kind of dug a hole in the sledding hill that's out there, and that hole is open while that material dries out. They probably won't be able to regrade that hill until next year. So this allows us to kind of safety fence that area off so the sledding hill still has some use.
Somebody just asked me about that this last week, so that's good to know that we're gonna put some kind of safety barrier there.
With that fence at the top
Yeah.
of the hill.
Yeah. They're like, is that gonna be part of the sledding hill now? I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to be.
It will be for this winter,
Yeah.
but it should not be a permanent.
And the request still is payment
Correct.
to the contractor in the amount of $144,926.17.
We will bring a final change order and a final pay request also.
Pay app number 5, 144,926.
Just one other possible correction. Are you, at this point then, holding the retainage, or will that be part of the next motion?
We are still holding the retainage.
Okay,
So when, we'll do a final change order to get the dollar amount correct, and then that will pretty much wrap the project up, and we'll ask to release the retainage at that point.
okay.
By the end of the year, we'll have released the retainage and paid in full.
Okay,
Is close to $25,000. Am I looking at that right?
okay.
But everything's checked out. I mean, they've run all the aerators and there's no reason that we're worried that we need to hold the retainage right now. The grass is crumbing in nicely and all that out there, so. Yeah,
Okay,
but we do still have it if something comes up in the near future to ensure that our contractor gets out there and satisfies it. And then we, of course, have warranty under a lot of the work too, that we always have, even if we've paid them in full. We always
okay.
hold them.
Right, then I'll make a motion that we approve this pay application in the amount of $144,926.17 to G&G Hauling.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Good.
Yep.
Call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks. I will say at this point, we are starting to talk to some different companies to stock that pond with some fish, and so if you go out there now, you'll catch as many as I usually do, but in the future, we should have some fish in there.
Denny perked up over there.
Yeah,
Hi,
he-
Denny.
He'll want to move his office out there.
Where is he during lunch?
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
I did go out last week to check it out since that's my old stomping grounds, and it really, really looks nice. And I was telling Aaron that the other day, so it's as clear as it used to be a couple years ago.
Yeah, good.
Back in the day.
No special claims?
I have no special claims.
That takes us to the claims docket.
I have 3 of them, the regular, the end of the month, and the pension.
George, you caught one thing today. Great job. Do you see anything here? A lot of pages.
You got a question answered, so I'm all right. Are you okay? Yeah, I think I'll make a motion that we accept the claims dockets as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion to accept along with a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. We do not have anything else on the agenda. Any comments or questions from anybody? Okay. With none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Amen. Oh.
And there's a second? Second, all those in
Second.
favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Have a very good day and a very good weekend. Looks like the weather's gonna be
Must be
beautiful.
nice.
Thank you.
My granddaughter's getting married tomorrow.
Granddaughter getting married.
Trinity, yeah.
Hey, Jeremy. I want
Good
to tell
for
you
you,
something. for you.
Diane.
Take a second.
Hey, I did text you, Diane,